Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Moving Forward podcast with your host, Jacob Lothamer, talking about the NBA. All stuff like that. Hopefully, get into more content in the future, but right now, NBA, playoffs. My favorite thing is the NBA. Rocking the Pistons shirt today. Reason I say that is because this is the first episode that's probably going to go up on YouTube. I'm testing some things out, so if you don't see it, that's why. But this is the first time that I am dual recording with audio and video. So we're testing that, working that out. There might be a few hiccups, but we're going to figure this out one step at a time. All right. That being said, you can get this anywhere. Moving Forward Podcast, Episode 3, Apple Podcast, anything where you hear podcasts at. Or if you want to see my face, video version, YouTube. Thank you. That's all I had to say for the intro. All right. Moving forward. Let's start with the Phoenix Suns. I think the Phoenix Suns are making the NBA Finals. Kind of hot takey. I thought they were going to lose the Lakers in the first round. Lakers are my favorite team. So, of course, I wanted them to lose, but being honest, I think the Phoenix Suns have the best potential in the Western Conference to make the NBA Finals. I think the Jazz could do it if they had a healthy Conley. They don't. I thought maybe the Clippers could do it with Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka's out for the rest of the year. So, that being said, I think the Suns are going to make the finals. They had easy work of the Nuggets. They had a much superior backcourt. Jokic with a terrible call with a flagrant 2 foul. He really hardly hit his nose. He was mad. He went for the ball. He got mostly the ball, to be honest. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it was clearly not a flagrant 2. Flagrant 1, it was a hard foul, agreed. He was intentionally trying to hit the ball and hit him hard. So I see that, but he barely brushed his nose with the elbow. It was like this. For people watching me on YouTube, I'm smacking my nose gently with my finger. But, yeah, it was like that. But, hey, man, credit to the Suns. DeAndre Ayton was a monster this series. Chris Paul showing why he should have been more of an MVP than he actually was. He's really elevating this Suns team. But not to discredit Booker, who's taking it to a whole nother level. I think Booker and Donovan Mitchell have to be considered 2 of the top 3 best players under 25. I think it has to go Luka, Booker, then Donovan. To be honest, I put Booker over Donovan, but that's definitely my top 3 of players under 25. And I'm just super impressed by them. Mikal Bridges was great. Cameron Johnson hit shots tonight. Cameron Payne does Cameron Payne things. Dario Saric actually had a good game. That was impressive. Jay Crowder continues to do big things and play good defense. But just leveled just with, they're just led by the backcourt of Paul and Booker. And it's super impressive. See Chris Paul doing this at age 36. And I know he's going to sign a long-term contract with Phoenix with a more team-friendly deal for less money. So that probably will give them the opportunity to pay Ayton big money. So just super impressed by what the Suns did. They're obviously going to the Western Conference Finals. I think out of the West, they have to be my pick to make it to the NBA Finals. Credit to the Nuggets. Jokic had a great season. They were really hurt. Will Barton didn't give up. I'll give him that. That clip of him selling "I won't quit." That's what you want to see. But Jokic had a great season. The supporting cast around him kind of just dwindled and got hurt. I'd be really excited to see what this team brings into next season, where they'll have more time to rest after making the Western Conference Finals. But all 4 teams that made the conference finals this year are now out. So that tells you anything about the NBA this year is that rest is important, and these teams need their rest. So looking forward to seeing what this Nuggets team can do next year, but really looking forward to what the Phoenix Suns team can do against either the Jazz or Clippers in round 3, the Western Conference Finals. Moving forward to the other series, now I'm going to flip over to the Eastern Conference, weirdly enough, because I feel like this is the second biggest series going on. Bucks and the Nets. I basically wrote off the Bucks in Game 3 when I told you guys to take the alternate spread for the Nets. Who would have thought that'd be the most early 2000s basketball game that I've seen in a long time? Reminds me of the early Pistons watching the Bucks, to be honest, especially on defense. But yeah, it was awesome. The Bucks are coming back. They're making it a series. I feel like it's mostly because of injury, which kind of sucks for the Nets. But Harden couldn't stay healthy. He hasn't looked healthy all year. He's been really injury prone. It's a shortened season. Plus, I think he's put on a couple of pounds, to be honest. Kyrie hurt his ankle. Bad roll. They said everything was negative, but I doubt he plays the rest of the series on that foot. The next game's on Tuesday. I think this is the Bucks series to lose now. I think they steal this game 5. It's over. I don't know if Durant can do it by himself. They need a really big Joe Harris game to make it happen, but I don't see it happening. So I'm going to go probably with the Bucks to win the rest of this series, especially with the injuries that have rolled out. I could look stupid in a week, but I just feel like the injuries have really plagued the NBA this year, and they're plaguing the Nets right now. Not to say that the Bucks haven't lost DiVincenzo, who's a big piece of their team, but the Bucks are really figuring it out defensively. PJ Tucker with a great game against Durant in Game 4. A lot of people complaining that he's fouling a lot. It's kind of PJ's thing, so he just kind of got to let it go. But I was super impressed by them. Super impressed by their defense, especially in Game 3 and Game 4. Chris Middleton and Giannis finally playing like all-stars. That adds a lot to do with it. Drew Holiday doing really great things. Yeah, I just feel now that Harden and Irving are both out, it's kind of similar to the Nuggets. Like, where are your guards? You have no guards. You have Joe Harris, but he doesn't create for you. He just shoots threes. So for the Nets, I feel really bad for them that this is what the rest of their series is going to be, and especially how injured they are. But if they can find a way to get Durant like 40 shots a game, then maybe. But the Bucks are just going to key in on defense. They're going to keep doing what they're doing, trying to get the ball out of his hands, trying to make other people make plays. Jeff Green did come back for the Nets in the last game, but that didn't make much of a difference. Kyrie gets hurt. Bucks kind of pull away at the end. The Bucks win. I really thought this was the Nets series to lose. I really thought the Nets were going to roll through the NBA playoffs, especially after the first two games, and really win this whole thing. But now I'm thinking to myself, are we about to see a Bucks versus Suns finals? Which would be great for the NBA, but not for the viewing fan who likes to watch super teams win every single year. But I'm really excited for this Milwaukee Bucks team. They're finally starting to figure it out. A lot of people have written them off year after year, saying Giannis can't win. Middleton's not an actual all-star. So, including myself, I've thought that about Middleton. So it's good to see Middleton proving people like me and other people out there wrong. But the Bucks believers have always been out there. So for me, I think it was really, really key that the Bucks finally figured out what they're doing defensively. They've been bad defensively this year compared to last year, and they're finally figuring out this series against maybe the NBA's best offense. But now without any Kyrie Irving, I don't think they're the best offense anymore. All right, coming back, we're going to talk about the first game tonight, 76ers Hawks. 7:30 tonight, TNT. The Philadelphia 76ers are currently favored by 3, over-under at 225.5. Just to get into a little analysis here, the Philadelphia is up 2-1 on Atlanta. Danny Green is going to be out probably the rest of this series, maybe the Eastern Conference Finals as well if the 76ers end up making it with an injury. Atlanta has had DeAndre Hunter out for a couple of games now, and after that big game from Atlanta in the first win, 76ers proving why they're the best team in the NBA this year and had the best record in the Eastern Conference. They've just been so good defensively against Trae. Even though he is getting his numbers, he's not putting up his same assist numbers. He's gone from around 9 assists a game down to 6 assists a game. Not moving the ball as well against the 76ers team, which is much, much longer than the New York Knicks that they played in the first round. Ben Simmons has been really physical on him, playing some of the time against him, some of the time off of him. I really liked what they've done with Ben defensively there. And then Joel Embiid's just unstoppable against this Atlanta team. John Collins has no chance. Clint Capella is definitely not strong enough. And Onyeka Okongwu does not have enough experience in the NBA to really handle this big man who probably was going to be the MVP until he got hurt for about a couple of months there. He would have been my pick for the MVP personally. But Embiid's averaging almost 30 points a game. Trae Young, only 25 a game. So I really like what the 76ers are doing. Obviously, their bench is their problem. And with Danny Green out, somebody's going to have to step in and play those bench minutes. So with that going on, I think the Danny Green defense was really going to hurt him. His offense has struggled so far this year, but he really does shine on defense, gives you a really nice defensive player and a really experienced veteran heading into these playoffs. So for the 76ers, if they need to get out of this series as soon as possible, they need to win these 2 games quick, wrap them up, get as much rest as possible, hope that Danny Green can maybe come back halfway through the Eastern Conference Finals series. But right now it's looking like Danny Green will probably be out until the NBA Finals if the 76ers make it. On the Atlanta side, they're really missing DeAndre Hunter. Their wing depth is really bad with just Solomon Hill and Tony Snell. They've been out with Reddish is out for the rest of the year. DeAndre Hunter's been out all this series. So it just makes me ask, they probably need to add another guy. Gallo is more of a 4. He's not fast enough to guard some of these wings. Tony Snell and Solomon Hill aren't it. They're not hitting the big shots that they did during the regular season with less pressure. These are playoff shots. You see numbers go down. They're not hitting them the same. So as far as the Atlanta Hawks, their wing depth is really lacking, and that's what's getting them kind of exposed against the 76ers and their inability to guard Embiid. But also, big credits to Tobias Harris. Once Detroit Piston was so upset by that trade, but side tangent. Tobias Harris is finally playing like the Tobias Harris that they gave this bag of a contract to, putting up around high 20s, low 30s, sometimes even 40-point games for them. Tobias Harris has been so good over the last couple games, this playoff stretch. He's had a 40-point game. He's had multiple 30-point games. Has multiple high 20-point games. He's averaging, I think, 26 in this series, which is super impressive. Just under Embiid for 29. And then Simmons is really moving the ball, playing great defense. This is the big three that you wanted to see out of the 76ers. And then the Josh Richardson-Seth Curry trade hasn't looked better. What a rinsing of a trade. Wow. The fact that the 76ers were able to trade an asset that they were not comfortable in Josh Richardson, for Seth Curry, probably one of the best sit-still shooters in the league, who's on a really great contract. I just really like the 76ers team. I think that they're definitely moving to the Eastern Conference Finals, for sure. I feel like that's a no-brainer. But I have no idea who's going to come out of this Eastern Conference in this game, in this season. I think it's going to be 3 teams. I think if the Nets get healthy, but I think most likely it's going to be the Bucks and the 76ers. Moving towards the picks, I'd feel really comfortable taking the 76ers -3 here. If you're more of a moneyline fan, you can get them at -145. But I think you feel pretty comfortable with a 4-point Philadelphia lead, just the way that they've been playing, how dominant they have been. This will be their first game without Danny Green, so that will be a test. But they've been really good defensively, and they're still putting up a lot of points. They've scored 124, 118, and 127 this series. I'd feel pretty comfortable with them at least putting up 120, and then I'd feel pretty comfortable with at least the Hawks putting up 105. So that's where I feel pretty good about the over 225.5 in this one, and -3 for the 76ers. I'll put these on my TikTok as well. TikTok at the Loth. I post all my gambling picks there, especially for the NBA. But yeah, if I had to say, the 76ers, they take this one. Series is pretty much over. They'll have 2 out of 3 games to try to win one at home. I'd feel really good after that. So yeah, I feel like the 76ers moving forward, -3 and over 225.5 tonight. The other game tonight, obviously, Jazz and Clippers. The Clippers are currently -5 at home. Whew. And the spread at 223.5. The Clippers absolutely blew them out of the water in Game 3. Blew them out of the water. Not even close. The 2 games for Utah at home were relatively close. Only a 6-point win for Utah and a 3-point win for Utah. But when the Clippers were at home, 132-106. Ugh. Absolutely spanking them. Says Conley's going to be out. Ibaka's obviously out for the rest of the year now. Huge loss for the Clippers moving forward. I don't know how much it is in this series. I think they've kind of figured out what they want to do with Gobert. So I don't think Ibaka is as important in this series as it would be in the next one. But yeah, I really, really like neither of these teams in a point spread tonight. I'm totally staying away from this Clippers -5. I could see a Clippers blowout. I could see a Jazz sneaky close cover / win. So your discretion advised. I don't think the Jazz play that bad again. And I also don't think the Clippers get that hot again. But even if it's a lesser version of that, where it's still like 110-115, Clippers could still win. Clippers were playing really, really well. It was a huge Reggie Jackson game last time, which is surprising, especially as a Pistons fan, seeing him play so poorly time and time again for the Pistons. But actually, one thing I do feel confident in this game is over. I feel confident in 223.5 being the over. If that was the over, it would hit 2 out of 3 times. For the first game, the over hit because I told you guys to take it then. It hit then. So I believe the over's probably hit in all 3 of these games so far. So I'd feel really confident in it going over 223.5 again this game. if Utah's having a hot shooting night, they put up points. Paul George and Kawhi were really, really good in Game 3. They put up points, and their bench players were the biggest part for the Clippers. They played really, really well. Reggie Jackson had a big game. Marcus Morris had a really big game. Luke Kennard had some nice shooting there. Utah just has to find a way to add a couple more pieces, and with Conley coming out, the bench becomes weaker and weaker because you have to move your bench guy, Joe Ingles, to the starting lineup. You still have Jordan Clarkson, but now you don't have that strong 7. You only have a strong 6. The numbers are dwindling for Utah. And Gobert isn't the biggest offensive threat. So Donovan Mitchell's creating a lot. If Jordan Clarkson has an off night, then his shooting's gone. So I feel really comfortable in saying that I like the over in this game. I don't know where my head lies at here. As a fan of LeBron and the Lakers, I want the Clippers to lose. And I want the Jazz to win this game and wrap it up in 4. Because I'd really like a Jazz-Suns finals. It'd be 2 full arenas there. It'd be really fun to root for. And it'd be 2 players under the age of 25 who I really, really like, and Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker. So if I had to pick a winner for this tonight's game, I'm going to go safe, and I'm going to say the Clippers are going to win the game tonight. Make it 2-2, going back to Utah. But I'm hoping that the Utah Jazz win. A little biased there, but yes. But I do feel confident in the over 223.5. So if you want a gambling pick, there's your gambling pick for this game. The Clippers bench has to do what they did again in Game 3 to win decisively in this one. And I doubt they put out that same production, so I'd look for it to be a little bit closer of a game. Clippers will probably still pull it out, but I don't know by 5 points. It's a lot to win by 6 in the NBA and the playoffs. So I'm not going to tell you who to pick for spread-wise. Kind of do like a sneaky Jazz plus 175 money line. It's a pretty decent payout. And also like the over 223.5. I feel really comfortable in that. I would definitely take that. So that's my thoughts on the Jazz and Utah. Now to finish this out, we're going to go over to the Tankathon. We'll just make this one big segment. I wish I could show you guys the Tankathon. I'm trying to figure out a way to show it on YouTube. But thank you for sticking through the first YouTube episode. Really great stuff here. I look forward to doing more of it. Sim the lottery. The winner this time, the Toronto Raptors. That'd be huge for the Toronto Raptors to get Cade Cunningham and move off of Kyle Lowry. Orlando gets number 2. They're not going to take a center. I feel like that's an easy Jalen Green pick for them. Houston stays at 3. Mobley's right there. Easy pick. Pistons fall the worst possible case scenario. Detroit for 4. Can't take Kuminga. He's the same thing as Sekou, maybe a little bit more polished. I think that'd be a Jalen Suggs pick. After that, Oklahoma City, they'd just take anybody available. Cleveland, that's a disaster. I don't know. And then in this one, Minnesota falls. So Golden State would get their pick, and Chicago falls. So Orlando would get their pick. So that would give Golden State 2 picks in the lottery this year. Man, that Orlando team is dangerous. Only 8 days until the NBA draft lottery. Pistons fans are crossing their fingers like I am that we get in that top 3. Hopefully 1. Tank for Cade. You can watch this on YouTube now. Haven't figured out the name for the channel. We're going to figure it out. Hopefully it's somewhere around the Moving Forward podcast. Something like that. Have to see what channel names are taken. Haven't set that up yet. But I will put the name of the channel in the description of the YouTube video. So thank you. If you want to see my face, if you want no ads, go to YouTube. Subscribe to it. Plan on posting more. Hopefully I kept this one under 20 minutes. It's pretty close. But see you guys. Thanks for listening. Have a good one. Peace.